Alright, so the first review is going to be on KOD, which is the second song on the whole album. I really like this song because it comes in strong, it grabs your attention, it's like boom, and then he snaps in the first half, right? But in really thinking about going in depth into the song, I started to unfold it because again, this is like a mental health theme, like it's about addiction. I'm going over it and it seems like he's talking about this king, right? KOD, I'm thinking that it applies to King Overdose, right? And again, I have a very complex way of thinking, just a disclaimer, this is my opinion. So I think he's talking about a king who has overdosed on money, overdosed on drugs, etc., etc. So who are these kings that have overdosed? I think that the first one is Kill Edward. You'll hear about him later on when I do the other reviews. So I think the first one is Kill Edward, but Kill Edward is not featured in this song, but you can kind of hear a voice like he's slipping into, like Cole is slipping into Kill Edward. So that's the first king, Kill Edward. And then the second one, bear with me, this may be a reach, but listen. I think that it's referring to a gang leader in Fayetteville, North Carolina, who was just sentenced to 35 years in prison for gang activity and drug trafficking. How did I get that? Let me tell you. In one of the verses in the semi-Kill Edward voice, you hear, "How I grew up, only few would have loved. Remember, I got my first view of the blood. I'm hanging out and they shoot up the club." So number one, he's taking us back to the past of how he grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And then he talks about remembering the blood shoot up the club. He's talking about the gang, and come to find out, the name of the gang was ATM, and it was a gang affiliated with the Bloods. So this gang leader, he was known for almost 10 years selling crack and selling cocaine, pushing it out to the community. So I believe that this has some type of relation to the hook when J. Cole rapped, "This is what you call a flip. 10 keys from a quarter brick." We're talking about cocaine here, y'all. And he is taking this quarter brick, flipping it and making it 10 keys so he can get the money and then take his mama's whip, from that whip to a Bentley. So it's like he's using what he has to get what he wants. But there's one more component. How can one sell such destructive drugs to a community in such a selfish way to get more power, to get more respect, to get more money? How can they manage to do that without no conscience, without no moral, without any remorse? But let's go into the verse. "My homie got pharmaceutical plug. I smoke the drug and it run through my vein. I think it's working, it's numbing the pain. Don't give up, I'm somewhat insane." And then he goes into saying he sips so much activist that activists should pay him. Activist is used to make promethazine, which is also a drug. So there is some type of pain that he is trying to numb with drugs, and because he is numbing it with drugs, he's able to rise to the amount of power that he wants because he's numbing some type of pain. So he's taking his product, flipping his product to get his money, to get material things, his Bentley from his mama's whip. He's doing these things, but at the same time, there's still some type of pain that he's covering up. He coped with the drugs to deal with all that he was flipping, all that he was achieving in, all that he was accomplishing. That was his coping method. That's why the king is able to be the king, because he's coping with something that is numbing the pain to help him remain king, or at least pursue kingship. So here's the lesson. We all are trying to flip something. Some of us are trying to flip high school to bachelor's degrees. I'm trying to flip my bachelor's to a master's and then a master's to a PhD. Some of you all may be trying to flip your businesses from making this amount of money to making that amount of money. Some of us are trying to flip different types of relationships that are on the rocks. We all are trying to flip something, but the question is, what are we using to cope with whatever we are trying to flip? In other words, in the midst of trying to get my master's degree, what am I doing to cope with the stresses of pursuing that master's degree? If you're trying to take your relationship from unhealthy to healthy, what are you coping with? Are you doing drugs? Are you meditating? Are you working out? Are you eating right? Are you not treating your body with much respect? Are you power hungry? Are you prideful? We all use different things to cope with what we are trying to do, and we all use different things to numb pain. But listen, yes, we can reach different levels of success if we keep flipping and flipping and flipping what we've been given. Yes, it's a great thing to do, but if we are doing it at the cost of our own health, are we really doing ourselves that great of a service. So the positive vibes that I want to push through this screen right now, if you see yourself succeeding, right, that's good. I want to give you a round of applause. You see yourself succeeding. But listen, what are you doing to cope with however you are succeeding or whatever you are succeeding in? That we all trying to be great, but just make sure that you're not doing it at that great of a cost to your health, to your character, and to your reputation.